What is up, guys? Jeremy Rika here, and welcome to another edition of Rika's Soccer Beat. I am your host, Jeremy Rika, and welcome back for another great video and interesting discussion. Today, we're going to talk about something that you see all too often in the world of soccer, and that is arrogance in coaches and managers. I don't care if it's at the professional level or club soccer, whatever the case may be, there's always a level of arrogance within certain coaches. And I want to know from you guys, how much is too much? That's what I want to know from you guys, how much is too much? Because I do believe there does need to be a little bit of swagger if you're a manager, because let's face it, if you're confident, your players are going to be confident. But there are certain managerial styles that I think, there's too much arrogance involved. And, I'm not saying that I don't like any arrogance, because, as I said before, I think there is a certain level of arrogance that needs to be had when it comes to being a manager in soccer, even if it's at the youth level, because, you know, I look at a lot of coaches in this world, and I'll give you an example of somebody that I think is way too arrogant for his own good, and that's Jose, Jose Mourinho. I I have never liked the guy, even when he was at Chelsea. I absolutely did not like the guy, especially after the comments he made about Chelsea. And yes, I'm an avid Chelsea fan. Yes, I was disappointed when he went to Man U. I thought that was a huge slap in the face. But hey, a job is a job, and it has nothing to do with what we are talking about at this very moment. I just don't like the guy. I think he is very arrogant. I think he he has a style of managing that I just don't like. And I think, sometimes if you get too arrogant for your own good in the world of soccer, I think that could be a real hindrance to your club. And I think you've seen that with certain managers over the years. The problem is, if you look at Mourinho in general, when he was at Chelsea, it got to the point that his players did not respect him, and that becomes a big problem. When your players don't respect you, then the issue is you're not going to get the results that you expect if your players don't respect you. Period. Bottom line, you're just not going to get the results that you want. So I'm curious to know from you guys if you think it's okay to be arrogant as a manager, if you think you need to be humble as a manager. Is there a perfect balance? Because to be honest with you, I don't like arrogance. I think arrogance is absolutely silly. I think, I look at my life, and I'll be honest with you, like having cerebral palsy and being able to coach the game that I love is so very important to me, and it's something that I would never ever take for granted. It's something that I love to do on a daily basis. If I ever got the chance, I would love to coach professional soccer and do that. I know that's not a realistic goal, and I've come to grips with that because, let's face it, if I'm in water, the wheelchair and water just don't mix. But, if I had the opportunity to be where, say, the Mourinhos and, you know, people like that were, of course I would be as humble as I possibly could be, because at the end of the day, it's your job to get the best out of your players. You're getting money to get the best out of your players. So it raises the question of, at what point is too much arrogance on the field as a manager? Is there a line that we draw, or is it okay? Because I think, again, I hate to use Mourinho as my topic of discussion, but I have to, because again, if you look at him in the last year of Chelsea, none of his players respected him. And when that happens, you're in a lot of trouble because you have to have respect on your players. There's no way you're going to win without the quality play of your players. It just does not happen. So I'm curious to know from you guys what you think, because I think it's interesting when you look around the league and you see some of these players being so very arrogant. It just drives me nuts. Just because you get to be in the Premier League and coach a top club doesn't mean you need to be arrogant about it. And that's the part that I don't like because, like I told you before, I wake up each and every day grateful to do what I do. I mean, I'm one of the only coaches in the state of Wisconsin with cerebral palsy that gets to do what he loves on a daily basis. I would love to be somewhere in the Premier League. I know that's not going to happen, but I'm humble about what I do because, if it wasn't for some very great people, I would not be able to do what I do every day. And so, yeah, I'm very grateful for what I do. I don't think you can be arrogant being a soccer coach and being able to do what you love on a daily basis. I think there's a difference between being confident and being downright arrogant. And the problem is you see too much of the latter than you do confidence. I get it. You think you're a good coach. That's fine. But don't be arrogant because you're going to see a loss of respect with your players. And when that happens, you're screwed because it's the players that make the manager successful. I'm only successful if I teach my kids the proper things to do and they execute out on that field. That's the only time I'm successful. It's the same thing in any sport. A coach's responsibility is to give players the tools to be successful on the field, and you cannot do that if you're arrogant. Am I saying you can't be a little arrogant? No, because obviously Mourinho knows how to win games. I'm not saying he isn't a good manager. What I'm saying is, does he need to be as arrogant as he is? Like I said, I'm not just picking on him because he's at Man U, because I don't like Man U, obviously, being a Chelsea fan, but it's not even about him being at Man U. It's about that no matter where he's gone, even though he's been successful, he has been arrogant, and that drives me crazy in the world of sports because I think a lot of humility would go a long way in the world of sports. So let me know what you guys think about this because I'm really curious to know if you have an opinion about this. If you do, please leave it in the comments below. If you like the video, as always, please subscribe, turn on post notifications. Until next time, this is Jeremy Rika saying so long.